Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we are strapping in. It's going to be an uncomfortable one, but absolutely necessary. We're descending into, well, the dark heart of the streaming world.
Yeah, we're talking TwitchCon.
Which, let's be honest, based on our sources, it stopped being just a convention, hasn't it? It feels more like a recurring pattern of catastrophic safety failures.
It is shocking, truly shocking, because these are failures that, well, everyone saw coming. They were predicted, repeatedly ignored. And our mission today, it isn't just to, list the disasters.
Wow.
It's to understand the systemic consequences. We're talking legal liabilities, the immediate physical harm, the psychological toll, all happening when a billion-dollar platform seems to prioritize this fuzzy idea of parasocial intimacy over, well, basic protection for its creators.
And we've got a serious stack of evidence today. Legal analyses, check. They really dissect the corporate liability angle. First-hand accounts from creators detailing what sounds like security anarchy. Got those too.
Yep. And clinical research that illuminates exactly why this kind of environment leads straight to crippling burnout. It connects the dots.
So where do we start?
We begin with the most immediate, the most visceral proof that the whole system was, frankly, structurally unsound. We're talking about the high-profile assault on one of their biggest stars. This incident, it's like the flashpoint. It proved all those advance warnings were essentially worthless.
Okay, let's unpack this. So the scene, a recent TwitchCon meet and greet. The streamer is Emily-Beth Schunk, Emiru. Our source material details how a man, and get this, described as bypassing multiple soft barriers, the ones just meant to manage flow, right?
Right, not hard security.
He manages to rush her, pull her into a forced hug, and then actually tries to kiss her face. It's appalling just reading it.
And here's the kicker. The fact that just blows holes, really, through any defense Twitch might try to put up, the person who stopped him is Emiru's personally hired bodyguard.
Her own guy.
Her own guy. Not a single event staff member reacted in time. Despite the immediate threat, the clear security breach, nothing.
That is the critical distinction, isn't it? Twitch failed. They failed to provide a safe space, forcing the creator to pay for her own protection.
Exactly. And the logistics of that, the cost.
And it wasn't a surprise. We know from the sources, streamers like Valkyrae, Pokimane, and others, they were publicly tweeting, talking about being anxious, specifically about safety before the event. The platform was absolutely on notice. They knew the risk was escalating.
So then, of course, comes the standard corporate playbook response.
Oh,
right?
yeah, here it comes.
Twitch issues a statement, calls the incident unacceptable, claims the guy was immediately banned from the convention, all future events. Sounds good, right? Clean, efficient PR.
Beaut. Emiru wasn't having it. She immediately went public, called that statement a blatant lie.
Well, blatant lie, strong words.
Very. She pointed out the man was just allowed to walk away. Walk away. He was only caught hours later because her manager had to relentlessly, and I quote, press for it with the security team.
See, that's a huge gap, a massive gap.
It suggests Twitch was way more concerned with the illusion of a swift response, managing the optics, than actually achieving justice or ensuring safety.
Precisely. It perfectly exposes that conflict, doesn't it? Corporate crisis management versus genuine corporate accountability. One's about looking good, the other's about doing good.
And if you think that's bad...
Oh, it gets worse.
The sources reveal this systemic failure when you look at Emiru's contracts. This part gets really interesting for anyone tracking the content economy.
Okay.
Emiru stated she felt trapped. She couldn't cancel that meet and greet, even with her safety fears, without risking the cancellation of her other contracted event at the convention.
Wow. So basically, perform under threat or risk losing other work.
How does that translate into a failure of protection, practically speaking?
Well, it reveals everything about priorities, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The platform views the content, the schedule, the money, essentially, as sacrosanct, untouchable. The contract structure prioritized running the show over the immediate known personal safety risk to one of their biggest stars.
So they've built a structure where your livelihood depends on accepting physical risk.
That's what it looks like. A system where creators are contractually obligated to potentially put themselves in harm's way.
So the platform's own legal framework is enabling this disregard for safety. But it isn't just about harassment and bad contracts, is it? Because this pattern, this scant care, as the lawyers might say, it's also led to catastrophic physical injuries, like nearly killed people.
That is the perfect segue, actually, because the Fung Pit incident back at the 2022 TwitchCon, it demonstrates the exact same systemic neglect. completely. This wasn't some targeted fan attack. This was catastrophic physical injury from just sheer negligence, bad planning, bad infrastructure.
Right. Streamer Adriana Chechik jumps into what was supposed to be this fun American Gladiators-style foam pit.
And instantly breaks her back. 2 places. A severe vertebrae compression fracture. Life-altering injury.
The technical failure here, it's what legal analysis calls an extreme departure from the ordinary standard of conduct. That sounds serious.
It is.
For our listeners, try to picture this. Attendees describe the foam pit as having only maybe a couple of feet of foam.
Which is already way too shallow.
Placed directly over hard concrete.
Hard concrete, not padding, not a trampoline base, nothing. Concrete.
What's the standard for something like that?
Oh, it's miles away from that.
Yeah.
Professional standards demand like 5 to 8 feet of specialized foam or padding, often over a sprung floor or trampoline base. Putting a high-impact pit on concrete with barely any foam isn't a minor slip-up. It's a fundamental structural failure. You just don't do that.
Okay, let's talk legal fallout, because people sign waivers at these things, right? So why are legal experts in California so sure that Chechik and others like Loch Vaness who hurt her knee, why do they still have a strong case for damages?
Because of a very important legal concept. Gross negligence.
Ah, okay. That's the key term.
That's the key. For everyone listening, the bar for gross negligence is really high. But if you meet it, waivers often become meaningless, they get tossed out. Gross negligence is defined essentially as the want of even scant care. It means an intentional failure to provide even the minimum level of safety or diligence, or an utter indifference to safety.
So skipping maybe 8 feet of required safety padding and just using a concrete floor for a fall zone.
A court is very likely going to look at that and say, yeah, that shows an utter indifference to safety. That likely constitutes gross negligence, and that bypasses the waiver.
The personal cost here is just unimaginable. Beyond the physical agony, the sources detail the heartbreaking emotional side for Chechik.
Yeah.
She found out she was pregnant after the injury, but because she needed immediate spinal surgery to fix the damage from the fall, she couldn't keep the baby.
Devastating. Just absolutely devastating.
And how did the corporation respond to this outcome, this life-altering injury and loss?
Reports indicate they tried to deflect. They tried to blame Intel and Lenovo, who apparently organized that specific booth or activation.
Classic corporate deflection, right? Pass the buck.
Textbook. Even though the foam pit was on their premises, the space Twitch leased for their event. They owned the overall safety obligation for the venue. They leased the space, they ran the con, but they tried to escape it.
Okay, so this connects everything, doesn't it? The foam pit disaster, the Emiru assault.
Yeah.
It points to this fundamental systemic flaw. TwitchCon's whole model seems built on monetizing closeness.
Exactly. That's the core issue. Unlike, say, Comic-Con or VidCon, which generally use managed viewing areas, hard barriers, dedicated escorts to keep huge stars separated from massive crowds, TwitchCon actively sells this idea of parasocial intimacy. They push the idea that creators are just regular folks you can bump into, hang out with.
And that engineered closeness. For some fans, it curdles, doesn't it, into this dangerous sense of entitlement, maybe even obsession.
Absolutely. It creates an unsafe dynamic by design.
And here's where the analysis gets laser-focused on the security specifics. Or lack thereof. The event uses generic perimeter stuff, right? Metal detectors, wristbands, good for catching maybe a weapon.
Right, baseline stuff.
But totally useless against behavioral threats. What they seem to lack are trained, creator-focused rapid response teams, or dedicated escorts for high-profile people, or even behavioral detection experts who know what to look for.
And the sources confirm this leads straight to what's called a diffusion of responsibility.
Yeah.
Meaning, when you hire a bunch of different third-party security contractors and mix them with some internal staff, everyone kind of assumes someone else is handling the specific threat, like protecting a particular creator.
So nobody does.
And ultimately, nobody is fully responsible, which results in the chaos we saw with Emiru's attacker just walking away. Nobody took charge immediately.
And then you throw IRL streaming into the mix. That's a core Twitch thing.
Oh yeah, big time.
That live, in-the-moment broadcasting, it completely removes any protective time delay. It gives stalkers or anyone with bad intentions a precise, real-time map of where a creator is.
It exponentially multiplies the risk profile. It's broadcasting your location live in a crowded, potentially chaotic environment.
And we absolutely have to talk about who this disproportionately impacts.
Yes. Critically important.
Marginalized creators, women, LGBTQ plus folks, creators of color, they already face way higher rates of online abuse, hate raids, threats, all that garbage.
Exponentially higher, yeah.
So you take that already toxic online climate, transpose it onto a physical venue where their exact location is being live streamed.
It's nothing short of reckless endangerment, frankly. The platform has to know the risks involved for these specific groups.
And the proof is in the pudding, isn't it? We're seeing a creator rebellion. Big names like Hassan Piker, QTCinderella, they're publicly boycotting, refusing to participate.
They're voting with their feet. And the ones who do go, it's disturbing. We have anecdotal evidence, creators talking about their TwitchCon essentials.
Like what?
Like pepper spray, tasers, rape whistles. They're essentially arming themselves because they have zero faith, that the platform making billions off their content will provide even basic protection.
That is a massive indictment when your talent feels the need to bring personal defense tools to your flagship event. Wow.
It speaks volumes.
And we have to connect the safety failure to the long-term mental health cost.
Because
it's chronic.
Oh, absolutely. When a creator is constantly aware that their platform is, at best, indifferent to their physical safety, or worse, actively forces them into dangerous situations through contracts, it just compounds the risk of professional burnout. It grinds people down.
Especially those marginalized creators you mentioned.
Exactly. They already expend so much extra emotional labor just managing the daily fire hose of online toxicity, the hate raids, the comments, feeling isolated. Then the platform fails them in person, breaks their spine, like with Chechik, or exposes them to assault, like Emiru. It just reinforces this devastating feeling that the system wasn't built for them, that their well-being doesn't matter.
So the labor never stops, and the threat is always there, online and off.
Perpetual threat. That's a good way to put it.
So looking across everything, the legal standard of gross negligence, the shocking lack of security protocol, the creator experiences, the conclusion seems pretty stark. Twitch has shown a dangerous, repeated pattern. They're prioritizing the monetized illusion of community, of closeness, over the actual basic safety of their biggest stars.
Yeah.
They're treating global celebrities like, I don't know, regular attendees with slightly bigger name tags. And the consequences. Broken vertebrae, assaults, deep emotional trauma.
It's undeniable at this point. And ultimately, the organization faces a critical choice. A real fork in the road that will define its future.
Which is?
Does it keep hiding behind reactive PR, releasing statements about unacceptable behavior after the fact? Or does it implement real structural changes?
Like what kind of changes?
Like mandatory professional escorts for major creators. Heavily controlled pre-registered meet and greets with actual hard barriers, not just ropes. Maybe even banning dangerous IRL streaming from the main expo hall entirely. Measures that genuinely prioritize protection over this risky, cheap proximity they seem to love.
We've seen the cost of cheap security, haven't we? It's measured in spinal injuries and assaults. But here's the final question, maybe for you listening. What price will you, the community, ultimately pay if these platforms refuse to protect the very creators who built their billion-dollar empires?
Right. Where does the money stop and where does the moral obligation actually begin? That's the question they need to answer.
Wow. Okay. This was a deep dive into the scandalous underbelly of the streaming world, and frankly, the truth revealed by our sources is absolutely incendiary, diabolical even. If you demand this kind of cutting-edge analysis, this raw, unfiltered truth that cuts through the corporate spin, then you absolutely must subscribe to the deep dive, smash that follow button, hit like. And seriously, tear up the comments. Tell us your bold opinions. What piece of evidence here just blew your mind? What do you think is the most negligent part? We need to hear from you. We'll be back next time with content so awesome, so unmissable, it will literally change how you view the digital world forever. You don't want to miss it. Follow or subscribe, NLW.